How one person, armed with nothing but conviction and a message of peace, could challenge an entire empire. This is the story of Mahatma Gandhi, a man who showed the world that the power of the soul is far mightier than any weapon. Born Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi in 1869, in a small coastal town in India, his early life was unassuming. He was a shy, average student. His family arranged his marriage at the young age of 13, a common practice at the time. Seeking a career, he traveled to London to study law. There, he was a quiet, dedicated student, but the seeds of a great transformation were yet to be sown. The real turning point came in South Africa. As a young lawyer, Gandhi moved there for a job. He expected a land of opportunity, but instead he was met with shocking racial discrimination. One fateful day, he was thrown off a train for refusing to move from a first-class carriage despite having a valid ticket. That humiliating moment lit a fire within him. He decided he would not accept this injustice, not for himself, and not for anyone else. This was the birth of his philosophy of Satyagraha, or truth force. It was a new kind of revolution, one fought not with fists, but with non-violent resistance. For the next 21 years in South Africa, Gandhi organized the Indian community to protest discriminatory laws, using civil disobedience, marches, and peaceful protests. He was arrested multiple times, but his spirit never broke. He was no longer just Mohandas, the lawyer. He was becoming Mahatma, the great soul. In 1915, Gandhi returned to India. The country was groaning under the weight of British rule. Poverty was rampant, and the people felt powerless. Gandhi traveled across the length and breadth of the country, not in fancy carriages, but in third-class trains, living and eating with the common people. He saw their suffering firsthand. He shed his Western-style suit for a simple loincloth and shawl, the dress of India's poorest. This wasn't just a change of clothes. It was a powerful statement. He was one of them. He embraced a life of simplicity, spinning his own cotton on a wheel, or charkha, which became a symbol of self-reliance and resistance against foreign goods. His first major success in India came in Champaran, where he led a non-violent protest for farmers forced to grow indigo instead of food crops. The British authorities were forced to concede, and this victory echoed across the nation. People began to see that Gandhi's methods worked. Then came the Salt March of 1930, one of the most iconic acts of civil disobedience in history. The British had imposed a heavy tax on salt, a basic necessity for every Indian. Gandhi decided to challenge this unjust law. He started a 240-mile march from his ashram to the coastal village of Dandi. He began with a small group of followers, but as he walked, thousands, then tens of thousands, joined him. The world watched, fascinated. When he reached the sea, he bent down and picked up a handful of salt-crusted mud, symbolically making his own salt and breaking the British law. This simple act inspired millions across India to do the same. The British government responded with mass arrests, including Gandhi himself, but they couldn't arrest an idea. The Salt March had shaken the foundations of the British Empire. Gandhi's philosophy was rooted in ahimsa, the principle of non-violence towards all living things. He believed that violence only creates more violence. An eye for an eye, he famously said, ends up making the whole world blind. He called for unity between Hindus and Muslims, who were often pitted against each other by political forces. He fasted, sometimes to the brink of death, not to coerce, but to appeal to the conscience of his people and their rulers, urging them to stop the violence and embrace brotherhood. His fasts were a form of self-purification and a powerful moral weapon that often brought warring communities to the negotiating table. But his path was not easy. He faced immense opposition, not just from the British, but also from within his own country. Some felt his methods were too slow, while others disagreed with his vision for a unified, secular India. He was imprisoned numerous times, spending a total of several years in jail for his activism. Yet through it all, his resolve never wavered. He held steadfast to his belief in peace, truth, and the inherent goodness of humanity. Finally, in 1947, after decades of struggle, India achieved its independence. It was a moment of immense triumph, but it was also scarred by tragedy. The country was partitioned into India and Pakistan, leading to widespread violence and one of the largest mass migrations in human history. This deeply pained Gandhi. He had dreamed of a united India, and he walked through riot-torn villages, fasting and praying, trying to heal the deep wounds of division. Just a few months after independence, in January 1948, Mahatma Gandhi's life was cut short by an assassin's bullet, but his legacy could not be silenced. His life's work inspired leaders and movements all over the world, from Martin Luther King Jr. in the American Civil Rights Movement to Nelson Mandela in the fight against apartheid in South Africa. Mahatma Gandhi proved that you don't need an army to change the world. You need courage, conviction, and an unwavering belief in peace. He taught us that true strength lies not in our ability to inflict harm, but in our capacity for compassion and our willingness to stand for truth, even when we stand alone. His life is a timeless reminder that in a gentle way, you can shake the world. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of incredible lives that changed our world. See you in the next video.